Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Happy Tuesday, everyone. So first up today, Wham Bam Tesla Cam shared some Tesla vandalism on Twitter. So if you eventually want to hop over there and retweet this so we can help Melissa find the person that vandalized her Tesla. And you hate seeing these videos, but really, I mean, you have to wonder, like, what happened to this guy to make him so upset at Tesla that he feels the need to do this type of thing. And really, it's this type of person in the world right now that deserves a swift kick to the you-know-whats. But hopefully we can track him down and justice will be served. And just real quick, in case you missed it, so Coinbase is now offering a 4% annual percentage yield on USDC, the stablecoin, which is backed 1-to-1 by the US dollar. And this is basically over 8 times what any savings account at a bank is paying you. So it's something to look into. Now be sure to read all of the disclosures, as yes, that 4% can change. And yes, your money is technically going to be lended out. But if you're looking for a place to park maybe a portion of your cash to get a little bit better return than the near zero you're getting at your bank, this is something to look into. Not financial advice. Potato Somersault on Reddit shared this awesome post. He basically made a key card holder with instructions for the valet or even a mechanic. This is actually printable, so I've included the link below if you wanted to do something like this. So as you can see, it's just instructions on how to use the key card. And then it has the actual key card in it, of course, and then the printable option. And 2 important notes: if you're new, your mechanic thanks you. Don't forget to add the key shouldn't be left in the vehicle. I've seen many mechanics have to ask the customer to unlock the vehicle from the app because the window's closed and the door's locked by themselves, and remind your mechanic or whoever else not to slam the frunk shut. So 2 very important things to keep in mind, and I really like this idea of the valet key card, or like I said, for a mechanic or anybody else who might not be familiar enough with Tesla to handle it properly. So JP Morgan provided an update on Tesla. This is honestly just laughable. We're not going over anything here because it's a waste of your time, but as you can see, maybe you can't, but they raised their price target from $155 to $160. So as of right now, Tesla is trading at $660 per share. So thank you, JP Morgan, for your $160 price target. We have all been eagerly awaiting your update. As you guys probably know, Sandy Monroe has been taking a look at the Ford Mach-E, looking at the battery pack, the doors, the seats, etc. But here's a quick chart. Once again, go ahead and screenshot if you want to take a look. But of course, Tesla is leading the way. And as you can see, the Model 3 and Y battery packs are roughly 438 kilograms. If you're like me and forget what the conversions are, basically that's 967 pounds for a frame of reference. But these are, of course, some of the most popular names in the EV space, so these are good numbers to know. So Germany did a battery electric vehicle customer satisfaction survey in which 2,800 people were questioned. The number 1 car was the Tesla Model 3 and the number 3 was the Model S. Here is the chart. As you can see, Model 3 and Model S leading the way. So this, of course, is bullish news ahead of Giga Berlin's production, hopefully late this year. There is some news going around today that the German minister is expecting and hoping for that first production to be toward the end of this year, despite all of the news, nonsense, and government stuff that's going on over there that has been delaying the process. He is still hoping for and pushing for production this year. Elon was asked on Twitter, when will Autopilot be able to recognize digital variable speed signs? Elon responded, caused by switching frequency of light source. Surround video, multiple cameras across several frames, improving frames per second, and exposure setting tweaks solves this, all in the FSD build. So of course the public is eagerly awaiting that wider release of the FSD build. So when will that come? We have no idea. But this of course makes sense because when you see those digital speed signs, of course sometimes the light is flickering, so it's challenging for us to see at times. Of course it's going to be hard for cameras to see as well. But a few tweaks and it's solved. Elon was also asked, after what we've seen with the revised software for Model S Plaid, will we eventually see a new UI for the Model 3 and Y? This has been a huge question for a lot of people, to which Elon said yes, updated UI is coming with the FSD wide release, which we're all waiting for. All cars with FSD computer will have the new mind of a car view. all 3Y models can be upgraded to have the FSD computer. And honestly, I said this about a week or two ago, but we got a comment on Reddit. I hope the Model 3Y gets the same user interface as the Plaid cars, you know, that modular design where you can kind of drag and drop and move things around. To which someone replied, I would want that, but I wonder how well the Intel chip inside the 3Y can handle the new animations and features. It's already overclocked and there's already aliasing quality issues in the car's rendered model. And one more, I keep seeing this, but honestly, the computer is capable of fairly complex 3D games. I'm sure there's a lot more they could do on the UI front with some optimizations. Totally agree with all of these comments and all things that we should be watching in the coming weeks. And now when Elon talks about the mind of the car, of course, this is where my mind goes. This is what I think of. Now, no, I'm not saying at all I think this is what the new user interface is going to look like, but I think to some degree we're going to be let in a little bit on what the car is of course seeing and how it's processing its decisions second by second. So hopefully a much more refined and Apple-esque view that is kind of sharing this information in a much more digestible fashion. And then of course here we have a visual of the new user interface for the Plaid Model S. So is this what the 3Y are going to get? Is it going to be slightly different? Word on the street though is that this new user interface, at least for the FSD driving visualizations, that part that's typically on the left side of the screen, the rumor is it's going to be completely new, something that we have not yet seen before. That's what Elon is talking about when he says mind of the car. So this is actually really exciting news. Very pumped to see it. Of course, the first iteration is going to change many times from how it is first released, but definitely looking forward to seeing this one out on the streets. This driveway right here is so awesome. Black is my favorite color, and this is really like a full circle picture. I love it. And of course, Elon replied, soft spot for old roadster. This right here is where it all started. This would be a great how it started, how it's going picture, but even in this one, the how it started is pretty slick. One item I want to bring up about Tesla in China. So this article, Tesla's fall from grace in China, shows perils of betting on Beijing. Of course, kind of clickbaity headline, but there is some good data here. So in case you missed it, Tesla has been trying to build relationships with the auto industry publications and influencers on platforms like Weibo and WeChat by taking them on factory tours and having group discussion sessions with policymakers, consumers, and media outlets. This in and of itself is a great thing. The better relationship Tesla has with influencers, the better things will be overall for Tesla. That's good so far. But then we have people familiar with the matter saying that Tesla asked Beijing to use its censorship powers to block certain posts, of course the ones that were being critical of Tesla. Now, this is a highly controversial issue because on one hand, of course, if people are posting FUD, you want that to be curtailed to some degree, but at the same time, us in America would want freedom of speech and the ability to post whatever you want and speak your mind. But of course, that has gotten out of control, and we're talking about China, who isn't really all about free speech, so quite the conundrum that we have here. Because of course, China is already censoring certain posts, so why wouldn't they censor the false or FUD-like posts to, of course, protect Tesla's image to some degree, especially if it's a fraudulent post or misinformation or something along those lines. But I really want to hear from you guys. How would you feel if Tesla did go to the Beijing government and say, hey, block the posts that are anti-Tesla? Are you supportive of that? Are you against that? I would love to hear from you guys. But the big question here and the key thread to be watching in the coming months is whether President Xi Jinping's government has fundamentally changed its approach to Tesla. Until recently, the unspoken bargain between Elon and Beijing seemed clear. In exchange for state support, the company would use its brand and high-tech expertise to attract Chinese consumers to EVs while pushing local manufacturers of EVs and components to up their game. And for me, of course, things change all the time, but that absolutely does not mean there's anything to worry about. It's just the dynamic of the Tesla and China relationship and the China and United States relationship is always and ever evolving, but it is what it is. Tesla is very important to the EV market in China, so for now, nothing to worry about, in my humble opinion. What do you know? We have another anecdotal Yoke review with thousands of people agreeing that, hey, I've actually had a chance to try the Yoke and I now really like it and prefer it to a regular wheel. Once again, don't knock it till you try it. We get the June registration data for Germany, and as you can see, total plugins making up about 23%, very solid. of which 12.2% are full battery electric. Once again, love to see the double-digit figure here, especially in Germany before Giga Berlin is up and running. Very strong signs for what we can expect in 2022. And for some context, Germany saw the PEV market make up the 23% share this year, which is up 3 times from 8.6% in June of 2020. The best-selling EV in June was already the Tesla Model 3, with all models imported, by the way, at over 4,400 units. So one would surmise that once the Model Y is up and running at Giga Berlin, that is going to shoot to the top of the leaderboards relatively quickly. And the gist of this story here is that there are some locales in Israel that are now not begging, but definitely pleading with Tesla to set up shop in their area. As you can see, the Gujarat government is offering 1,000 acres to Tesla to set up a plant in the state. And right now, all of the states that are offering incentives to Tesla are coastal states, which would make an easy link to West Asian and African markets, but Tesla hasn't said what it plans to do. But there are no real hardcore developments here, just that hey, a lot of places in Israel are wanting Tesla to set up shop there, which is absolutely no surprise, but something to watch for sure. And to answer this question, the answer is no, not really. Elon told us just last week that, hey, we're not going to IPO until we have stable cash flows, and that will probably be a few years. But I wanted to zoom out and give you guys some hard data as to where Starlink actually is with its progress. According to Shotwell, which is Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's president, Starlink has already more than halved the amount it spends on each terminal from 3,000 and expects to be less than 1,000 within the next year or two. This in and of itself is very impressive and really important. Starlink has launched around 1,800 satellites into orbit and is now trialing its service in 11 countries, including the United States and the UK, with more nations due to be added to the list soon. Shotwell said that at the end of June, once all of those satellites reach their operational orbit, we will have continuous global coverage, so that should be like September timeframe. But then we have regulatory work to go into every country and get approved to provide telecom services. But Shotwell believes Starlink should have a total of 500,000 customers within 1 year, which would be a huge jump from the number that Elon just tweeted recently of 69,420 customers. So that would be almost a 10x user base growth in just 1 year, which is obviously a wildly bullish figure, so we'll see if they can pull it off over the course of 2022. But with the cost of production coming down and the user base seemingly set to explode over the next 12 months, I would not be surprised if we hear more serious Starlink IPO talks sometime in the beginning of 2023, if not maybe a bit sooner. But at the same time, now that Elon knows the pros and the cons of taking a company public, he may not be in a rush to IPO Starlink right when they have predictable cash flows. He may be patient with this one. And there was a trending video today on the interwebs about Tesla Model 3's modular motors. It's about 28 minutes, but it's linked below. I think those of you that really want to dive into understanding Tesla's motors, what they're doing differently, how all of that works, this would be a great watch for you. So of course, linked below for your viewing pleasure. But that's all for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. I hope that you guys have an excellent day, and a big thank you to everybody on the next screen.